Whew. Well, a bit of a disaster struck Gordon's garage. Really bad weather, tornado stuff, bad. Welcome back to Gordon's garage. Yeah, we got the car up in the air still. And the last episode I was tightening and finishing bolting together everything on the bottom side. So next step for that car is going to be cleaning up that stuff over there on the table. It needs to be all parts washer and get new gaskets and stuff like that. And it's going to take a lot of work. And that gets the top side put back together, so maybe I can get that thing started. As bad as I want to do that, we got to put it on hold. Today we're going to be working on my everyday car, the Chevy truck, the tan one, and it needs an intake manifold gasket. So yeah, funny thing is I've got my shop kind of cluttered here. So we got the vet sitting here. I don't have too much room up there. So that thing's got to move. The bike's on the other side. It's got to go somewhere. The cherry picker here, it can't stay there either. And this table's gonna have to move. So I think I'm gonna rearrange a whole bunch of stuff. Put the vet underneath the Camaro, and then maybe use this lift table to suspend me up in the air a little bit so I can get over that radiator. Pickup radiator's about high off the ground, and it's hard to reach the center of the engine when you're standing on the ground. So if you can get yourself up on a platform, that'd be better. Let's take a look outside. We started early this morning, but not early as usual. See if we got a sunrise. Sun's not up quite yet. It's close, real close. Well, I can sit here and talk to y'all all day, but you know what we gotta do? I gotta rearrange the whole shop, clear it up, get the truck inside. Let's start tearing apart the top of that motor. So, don't know if this is a trick of the trade or not, but I go around placing these little round magnets on spots just to keep some wind or something from blowing the light plastic cover off of the car. Okay, as you can see, I cleaned out a good bit of the shop here. Vet, Camaro. Still got to do something with that cherry picker. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. But that table's going to go in front of the motorcycle lift stand. It's going to go in front of the truck. But this bike right here, it's my escape vehicle. So I better make sure it starts and runs. Because if I have to get out of here, go get a part, and this don't start, I already got all that trapped underneath the vehicle in here where it can't get out. Good old reliable Honda. They're real good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I got my drop light up here where I can see real nice, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff. We got wire looms, we got the AC pump right on top with the hoses going across. Man, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here just to get to that intake manifold down there. Okay, well, This intake manifold gasket thing, why do I need to change it? People tell me that's what the problem is. And I'm thinking it's very likely. This type of engine has this type of issue more frequently than not. And when the last person that told me this, I was like, you really think so, huh? And so I went to go online and order. And this is one of those funny little things I did on one of the auto part stores. I looked up my engine, and of course I got a 350. I got a Chevy truck. Yeah, let's give me the intake manifold gasket. Well, for some reason, I don't know why it caught my eye, but whenever I went to click on 350, it had on there 350 5.7. The VIN number will have an R in it. I was like, wow, they know that, huh? And for some reason, I decided just to pull out my insurance card where my VIN number was at and take a check, and I didn't have an R in my VIN number. So I knew something was up, and it turns out this is a 305. I never knew. Anyways, 305 intake's the same as a 350, and I came back out to the shop for something and ran across this. I have already purchased it. Somebody else told me this a while back, and I've forgotten, and I ordered the part but never got to it. So no money out of my pocket this week so far. Let's see how this goes. There's a lot of little plastic clips that hold all this stuff in place, and I can break every one of these trying to get it apart if this is all brittle. But we're gonna see how this goes. Man, nothing more to do but get to work. Okay, so I'm not filming everything because there's a really good high quality video already out there on YouTube. It's not hard, just look up for your year model truck and intake removal. Yeah, anyways, I got that part done. We're pulled out of there. I just kind of scraped up. I still got to go over it with the rag and clean up that surface with some solvent. I got my intake down here on this ground over here, and I think we're cresting the top of the hill and about to head back down. All right, so yeah, that wasn't easy. It's worth paying somebody. I won't do this again. And looking at this engine, I was always so proud of this truck, how many miles it's got on it. I was like, surely it's got a new crate motor in it. Somebody's run out the engine and put another one in by now. But looking at the engine now, it's got 280 something thousand miles on it, that engine right there. So this might be on its last leg. This might be just a Band-Aid on a great big wound, but we're going to keep on trying anyways. So yeah, let me get some solvent, clean up some surfaces, and I'll get this gasket on, and we'll be putting that intake back in. All right. Now while I was doing all of that, mixing around and just trying to pull that intake off, a little antifreeze leak down in the engine. You can't avoid all that every time. You can do your best, but there's some pockets back in there that just don't drain out. Anyways, so I don't get milky oil, I went ahead and did an oil change, and it's time to fill up the engine now. And I'm gonna pour this in, and I've got to hook up a battery. And before I start the truck, I'm going to go ahead and do a code reader and read what codes I had, because I had a check engine light on, and we'll see what we can go from there. Hopefully this thing starts up just great. One of the problems I was having was when I started the truck in the mornings, it would spit and sputter a little bit. Even in low RPMs, it would have a definite miss. And they're explaining to me that basically what's going on is a radiator fluid was getting from the radiator into my intake to one of the cylinders and flooding it out, I guess. It makes sense because the gasket wasn't very good. I'll try and show you that right here. Okay, so I'm gonna look right here. This is where one of the radiator ports would run across. And you can see there how it's kind of torn up, and that's what would cause it to leak. Now the one thing that was really puzzling me is the fact that it was leaking into like one of the cylinders, I guess, because that's why it's missing, because the radiator fluid was making it over to the cylinder. But it looks like, if anything, this radiator fluid would be leaking into the engine, turning my oil milky, but I don't know. I have no idea. And the other gasket looks about the same, but you can see how that one's split there at one side, and that's the intake manifold gasket I got rid of. Nevertheless, that gasket needed to go. Whether that was the problem or not, we're about to find out. All right, let's see what this thing says. Turn key off for 10 seconds, then turn the key on, and then press enter. Then on, press enter. Get to sit here and listen to the buzzer. That's great. Hey, right there it says, if you have an M, you're 5.0 liter. If you're an R, you're 5.7, S, W, different size engines. So I'm glad I'm putting the right engine in this time. So yes, enter. Well, it says it has no codes, but my check engine light is on. So let's start it up and see what happens. I hear the fuel pump going, so that's a good sign. We'll do that a couple more times. That. It started up just a bit rough, and now it's just trying to smooth out some. I'm sure I've got a little bit of water in some places that don't need to be, and it's got to work some stuff out. It does sound nice. I like it a lot better. While I clean this up, why don't y'all sit back and enjoy a meme break? Hey everybody, welcome back to Gordon's Garage. Next day here. Yeah, let's go out here. I got the truck out back today and go underneath this little car here. And anyways, yeah, I drove the truck home, all the way home, and then drove it all the way back out here. It's about a 30-minute drive one way, so yeah, I had a good chance to, if I had any problems, it was gonna let me know. I watched my oil pressure gauge, and this is one of the things I love about having a vehicle that has gauges on the dash. I don't like the little lights because the lights are, once you get that light on, it's too late. You done lost everything. So if the oil pressure goes down, as you come up to a light and it drops down but doesn't go all the way out, that means, well, you're lower RPMs, and I can read that. But yeah, the thing I was watching for was oil leaks mainly, because the valve cover gaskets were giving me a little bit of trouble. But yeah, intake manifold gasket went in, and I have to say something about this emission stuff. It's great. It's great. It runs cleaner. It's great for the environment, all that stuff. And the engine has went 280 something thousand miles. I haven't checked the VIN on the engine, see if it's the original engine, but I'm going to assume it, because the inside of the intake manifold was nasty. I mean, it was thick caked. I thought the engine was bad on this thing when I pulled it apart, but no, the inside of that engine. So basically the fumes from the oil in the crankcase come up through the PVC valve and through other parts, and it gets vacuumed down into the intake, back out the exhaust. And it has just taken all that sweat of the oil and stuff has just caked inside of the intake manifold. And I looked at it and I was just disgusted, and I didn't want to care about the engine. I just put it back together. I was just done. And amazingly, all my problems I was having, gone. I was having troubles when I started up, and the idling was really rough. And then whenever it was in low idle, like I was sitting at a light, it would sit there and it'd sound like it was missing and stuff. And all that stuff's gone. Okay, so what's next? Let's see here. We have a car in the air needs to come down. I have a motorcycle lift stand here that I can't seem to pump all the way up. I'd like for it to be at table height, and it only comes about knee high. And I end up having to sit in a stool way down on the ground trying to work at this table. And so I think I want to get the car down on the ground for one. I'm going to try to get this little section pulled off and work on the pump. See if I can get some hydraulic fluid in the pump. Maybe I can get it to pump up higher. We'll see. Yeah, and I might put some parts on the car. Let's see. I don't know. How much time do I got? About 20 minutes. We'll get to work. So what we have in here is basically a bottle jack. So this is the bottle jack from here to the base. And there's a little caps that go right here. and they look like this little red cap, and it says do not adjust. So I'll put that back on there. There's another red cap right here that says do not adjust, and I have this one Allen bolt, and right down there's another Allen bolt. I'm not sure how to fill this thing up. I'm really sure that it's just low on fluid. This cylinder here is a pneumatic cylinder. An air hose runs into here, and it just is a like a jackhammer. It just pop, 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 and it will jack this up with this black hose that runs around here to here. So you hook your air compressor up here, and you just hold this switch down, and it will cause your table to lift with air pressure instead of using the foot pedal right there. There's another pedal right there underneath that shirt that's for relieving the jack, and it lets it back down. This table also comes with this bar. This bar goes in the side, right off in there somewhere, and it's a safety, so whenever the jack is lifted up, you put the bar in, and if it relaxes or tries to go down, it rests on that bar instead of collapsing all the way on your toes or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get an Allen and take that off and see if I can put some fluid in that. All right, as you can see, I rigged up my cherry picker to help pick up the table. To raise it up high enough, I can get the safety bar in at the highest setting. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take apart that one screw Allen bolt and see if I can get more oil in it now. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't get oil in it when I took that screw off the first time, other than it was compressed completely and it needed room for more oil to be put in. I also hooked up the air compressor and ran this trigger here like this, but it would only go so far and it wouldn't let me get my safety bar in. So I was thinking maybe some of the hydraulic fluid ran around over and back up into this pump. Maybe there was a seal there that went bad, but even using the hydraulic pump, it still didn't allow me to go up high enough. So I'm gonna get the safety bar in. I'm gonna let the pressure off of it so that there's nothing keeping it from falling, and I'm gonna see about getting more oil in that. Okay, as you can see there, I tried pumping it while the bolt was out, and it just seemed to pump fluid out. It wouldn't give more air or room for more to come in. I saw some stuff look like air bubbles coming out, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the heck was going on there. I got a bad feeling that I have to take the jack completely out from underneath there, unbolt it and get it on the workbench in order to fill that thing up. And something tells me there's a lot more to it than that. So for right now, we're gonna leave that bar in, we're gonna leave it up in the height that it is, and then we're just gonna have a roll around metal table for right now. I do have a couple of projects like the VFR. I want to take those rims off and paint them black. I think that would be so cool. That's something I might can't do on the ground. It's not that hard to pull wheels off. I don't necessarily need the table for that. So we're done messing with this thing. We're going on to getting that thing out of the air and back down on the ground. So let's get to it. All right, it's time. It's time to deal with the water pump. It's time to clean this thing up and get it back on that car. It's pretty nasty. I'm gonna have to take a lot of wire brushing, a lot of elbow grease. Man alive, it's gonna go. It's gonna have to, yeah, transform to something pretty. Let's do this. Whew, with all that hard work, it come nice and clean. Even the back shined up real good. See how nice that is? I'm just kidding. I got a brand new one from the parts store. Yeah, I got lazy. Hey, I can't help it. Oh, I missed that old beautiful engine. All right, so oh, wait a minute. Yep, we need to get the harmonic balancer installed all the way. It's just sitting up here. And I've done pulled that tool out here. Whoop. I hate that. I really want to label these things top and bottom so I don't do that again. Okay, I've got the center post here. I need to find out what thread that is. It looks like this one. It is. So I need this and a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, let's get this going on. Now maybe I can put this water pump on. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to put the bolts through first, like this in the top 2 spots. And I'm going to hang these gaskets right here on those bolts, being very careful. And I'm going to ease this down in here one side at a time. Oh yeah, that looks so nice. Wow, just like that, I'm gonna wrap up the video. Man, there's a lot of stuff done this weekend in a very short time. Actually taking the intake manifold off the truck completely. I mean, that's a lot of work with all the wiring harness and all the smog and all these pipes and stuff going through, fuel injection stuff, and getting it back together successfully. And it actually improved the vehicle's running. And then I actually got this car down out of the air, put the water pump on and the harmonic balancer on. That's actually doing something towards this car. I really wanted to do something this weekend to this car. But this is going to make a wrap for this video. And man, y'all stay cool out there. The weather's getting really hot. Have a good summer. Do whatever you got to do to have some fun. Go get you a snow cone or something. That sounds like a great idea. So I'm going to let y'all go here. I'm going to get a snow cone. Y'all have a good weekend. It's a little shot of beside the door where it came out of its little channels. It was sticking outside the garage and I've crammed it back through. I'm gonna pan around here and see up in the garage. I'm sorry we lost power for about 24 hours out here, and I had to do some work to cover up holes so that you know, this place wouldn't get a bunch of critters in it. That's a green tarp and a light hanging from the ceiling, and that's the garage door, supposed to be on the front. But wind blew it so hard it yanked it right off the tube up on top. A little damage on the Corvette there. A little damage on the bike. I'll try and get a better shot of this here in the daylight. So yeah, what you just saw there was a nice little clip there in the dark with just nothing but pouring rain. And yeah, it's horrible. Maybe to shed a little more light on just what damage has happened. That roll-up garage door, it flew over the vet and landed in the middle of the floor, but it didn't miss the vet. It caught a rear quarter here. Got some scratches all up and down the side of that, and busted up a fender and scratched up the nose piece here pretty good. So yeah, it's gonna need a little fix up on some fiberglass and some paint, really bad. It's body work. So yeah, hoping my insurance will cover that. Yeah, it's all tore up there. It tore that roll-up garage door straight off the top and tossed it. And the wind blew so hard, it blew that garage door out that way. And yeah, it was flapping back there somewhere. I shoved it back through the hole and put a set screw or two, self-tapping screw or two in it. And you can see this is not how I leave my shop. The shop just got tossed and got a light fixture hanging. I'm gonna have to get to that before it falls on the vet. And I got a lot of cleaning to do. Dang. I thought I was gonna come out here and work on that Camaro. It decided, nope. I just noticed the hood over here to the Camaro is not leaning against the wall anymore. It's pushed it up against my air compressor and stuff. It's even scratched up my bike pretty good. This is all due to that front garage door. So note to everybody out there, if you're gonna get a roll-up garage door that's wide, make sure it's a thick gauge metal. If it's thin gauge, it's a cheap one. And even though it's corrugated, it's supposed to be rigid from side to side, it still will flex. And if it comes out the little channels on the side, you get what I got, all right? So the next episode, we're gonna build bigger, better doors. And you know what? I'm gonna use that material right there. Yeah, I'm gonna save a buck. Okay, so that's the end of that episode. Kind of down note. But y'all keep your hopes up, keep your cheers up, and prayers for me and all that. I appreciate all of it. Like, subscribe, do all that goodness. Maybe I'll video making some doors. You know what? If it happens in Gordon's garage, it's going on Gordon's garage. Y'all have a good weekend.